The Jackpot, a full tall tale short story told by a man who should never have filled out that quiz card. Folks say there are two kinds of luck in this world: the kind that falls out of the sky like manna from heaven, and the kind that sneaks up like a raccoon, steals your lunch, and leaves you wondering what happened. Now, I admit I never had much use for luck at all. Never trusted it. I'd seen too many men win big prizes only to find themselves paying for them twice over, once with money and once with misery. So you may imagine my confusion when luck came galloping into my life louder than a mule dragging tin cans. It all started innocently, too innocently. I was sitting in the department store lunchroom with a slab of meatloaf that looked more confident than I felt. A couple of the fellas, Joe and Ed, decided we should all fill out some radio quiz forms. "You'll never win," Joe said, "but you also won't lose nothing." That right there was the greatest lie ever told by a man holding a pencil. I filled it out, folded it, dropped it in the mail slot, and I forgot it faster than I forget my wife's instructions. 2 weeks later, the phone rings while I'm trying to fix the wobbly leg on the kitchen table. I answer, and a voice hollers loud enough to reorganize my skeleton. "Congratulations, Mr. Bishop! You have won the jackpot!" I dropped the wrench. The table dropped the dishes dropped my good mood. "Are you sure?" I asked, because it's always best to make sure good news wasn't meant for someone else. "Oh, yes, Mr. Bishop," the voice thundered. "You've won so much merchandise that we needed 2 announcers just to read the list." And read they did. The list that wouldn't end. For 37 minutes, they recited the items. I know the exact time because my wife turned the oven timer on to see if they'd ever stop. I had won 2 washing machines for twice the laundry we never did, a lifetime supply of raisins, a collapsible canoe that collapsed even when you didn't want it to, an electric potato peeler guaranteed to peel everything except potatoes, a brass bed frame shaped like an antelope, 300 pounds of dog food. We did not have a dog. A left-handed accordion. I am right-handed and accordion impaired. A set of encyclopedias from 1912, all volumes except Q. 600 cans of soup with labels printed in a language nobody recognized. A moose lamp. Another moose lamp. A box labeled "Fragile, Live Fish, Do Not Shake." The delivery man had shaken it like a maraca. By the time they got to the end, they sounded exhausted. I know I was. The next morning, delivery trucks, plural, rolled down our street like a funeral procession for common sense. Neighbors gathered on porches, some brought lawn chairs. One man sold popcorn. Boxes piled up in the yard, then on the porch, then in the hall, then in the children's room, until I wasn't entirely sure we still had children in there. My wife stood with arms folded so tight you could have used them as clamps. "Henry," she said, "what have you done?" "One," I whispered. "I think." The IRS arrives like locusts. The government must have a secret hotline for when citizens get too happy, because the IRS showed up before lunch. A man with round glasses and the disposition of a wilted turnip knocked on my door. "Mr. Bishop," he said, "according to federal tax code, you owe money on all of this." "How much?" He flipped pages, pages, more pages. "Well," he sighed, "if we tally it properly, roughly $17 million. "Sir," I said, "I don't have $17 million. He pushed up his glasses. "Then you'd better start selling antelope bed frames." The neighborhood reacts. Word spread. Suddenly, everybody thought I was rich. Rich, as though 600 cans of international mystery soup equaled a financial empire. People I hadn't seen in 20 years showed up. Cousins who needed investments, church folks wanting donations, a man claiming to be my half-brother from Cincinnati, a woman wanting me to sponsor her ferret ballet troupe. My boss called me into his office. "Bishop," he grumbled, "a man of your winnings shouldn't be selling women's undergarments." "Mr. Wilson," I said, "I'm poorer now than when I started." He didn't believe me. Nobody did. Attempts to get rid of the stuff. I tried selling the goods, tried giving the goods away, tried burying it in the yard until the neighbors called the sheriff, thinking I was hiding bodies. But every time I moved one item, 2 more appeared, because I kept finding things I hadn't even seen yet. I tripped over an unassembled rocking giraffe in the bathroom. The children found a crate labeled Silk Panthers. Thankfully, they were only pajamas. The accordion fell off the shelf so many times I began to suspect it was alive. The breaking point. One night, overwhelmed, I sat on the living room floor surrounded by lamps, expired coupons, auto parts, one snowshoe, and 300 boxes of cereal whose mascot looked like a depressed squirrel. I turned to my wife and said, "Darling, I believe the house has won US." But my wife, God bless her of the everlasting patience, rolled up her sleeves. "We're getting rid of all this," she said, "one way or another." That scared me more than the IRS. The Great Purge of 50. We sold things, we traded things, we auctioned things, we bartered with eccentric collectors, traveling salesmen, 2 Boy Scouts, and 1 man who only spoke in pig Latin. We even held the first ever "everything must go because we are sinking in raisins" yard sale. People came from 4 counties. By sundown, we had cleared the house, paid the taxes, exercised the accordion, and regained the ability to see our own floors. The moral, such as it is. And after it was all over, I sat on the porch with a tall glass of lemonade and reflected deeply. Luck ain't good or bad, it's just nosy. And if it visits you, make sure you have storage space.